from Stuart Haas, Kevin Harvick. We have a first question already set for Kevin. Well, how are things?
Everything is great.
You know, how's the little one?
Everybody's doing good. We have had a great winter and enjoyed our time off, and we came home January 8th and flipped that switch back on to get back in race mode. So it's been fun to go to the shop and walk around and see everything that's going on. Obviously, there's a lot going on with the switch to Ford, and I think that's definitely a lot of motivation for the year to make that right. So it's been fun so far.
Question there. It looks like Greg.
Greg Engel, Cupscene.com. You raced against Tony, and then you came over to his team. What's the differences between? Now he's a full-time team owner because he's not driving Cup anymore. What's the biggest differences that you've seen with Tony Stewart as a driver as opposed to an owner? Anything surprising or?
Well, I think I came in at probably 3 unique years, for Tony in his career. So, I don't know that was at the highest level that Tony Stewart was at in his driving career with all the things that he's had go on. But the one thing that I can say that has been very different when you're around Tony, you know how Tony can be. You get to see him in the competitive element of what he does. But for me, the one thing the couple things that I've learned about Tony is how good he is with people. He may not know exactly what's going on in a situation, but he's very good at gathering all the information, processing that information, and then going out and making things happen. He can make things happen. He's very good with people. He's very good at sitting people down and talking to them and getting things figured out. And the second thing is, you would think he's going to be that guy that gets mad and bangs his fist down, and he's actually the guy that's going to sit in the room, not say a word. If he does say something, he's going to say a little until he has his thoughts gathered and truly understands, what he wants to say. So he's definitely. Now, don't get me wrong. He can go on a tirade, and if he already knows how he feels about something, and move on. But that's not going to happen, in my opinion. That's not going to happen in an SHR environment, in a competition meeting or something like that.
Next question, Jordan.
You've known Jimmy Johnson for quite a while now, going back to your Ron Hornaday's couch. What is Jimmy like away from the track, as a person, as a competitor, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy's just he's a good guy. I mean, he's somebody who's obviously done a lot in our sport, and he's been around it for a long time, and you see the accomplishments, but I don't spend a lot of time with him, outside of the race car, but I've known him and know that he's a good person. He's a great dad, and does a lot outside of racing with his foundation.
Holly Kane.
Hey, Kevin, could you speak a little bit about what your expectations and the team expectations are switching to Ford? I know I can remember we would ask Martin Truex, do we give you, 2 months before we really think you're going to kick in with the Toyota? And he, right off the bat had such a fantastic year. But what are your expectations and the team's expectations, switching manufacturers and getting right back on track?
Yeah, I think, there's definitely a little bit of, I think everybody's a little bit anxious to get on the racetrack next week in Phoenix, just for the fact that, we do have a new rules package. We know where we were last year from a lot of different avenues, but, the hardest things to overcome are going to be, a lot of the things that come with the technology side of things, whether it be turning on the, pulling things out of the database, putting them into, the simulation programs, understanding all the tools that we have. So, there may not be anything that you guys ever see on the racetrack. We may never miss a beat on the racetrack, and that's our goal, is to not miss a beat and, contend to win races and progress things through the year and get better. So our goals haven't changed. We want to come out of the box strong, compete for race wins, and try to run for another championship as we get to the end of the year. But, throughout, I think you have to try to temper that enthusiasm a little bit, just for the fact that you have to be realistic about everything that we just did, and in the Truex situation, that was one car, not four. So I think it's been a massive undertaking for the company to not only turn the whole company over from a manufacturer standpoint, but to bring in 70 or 80 new people, start your own chassis shop, which we've kind of done a lot of these things, but we've never done them to this magnitude. So and mainly not because we didn't know how to do those things before. It's just you really didn't want to waste the time. You didn't have to. I think there's been a lot of planning. There's been a lot of things put in place, but I think there still needs to be realistic expectations as to things that could happen, or where you're at, or how things go. And I think all of us know that, and we'll work hard. If it's good, we're going to work hard to get better. If it's not good, we're going to work hard to get better. So we just need a direction. We need to know where we stand, and I think that's just a little bit of the unknown right now. And obviously, everybody's worked a lot, and and that happens. As a team owner, this was the worst time of year because you had all your road crew guys in the shop with the guys in the shop that are there every day throughout the year, and those two don't mix well when they're around each other a lot. So. It's just an interesting time of year, and it'll be good for us to get out of the shop and get to the racetrack next week. So it's all going to be good, and we'll make it that way. It's just a matter of you gotta know where to start.
Next question right there.
Yeah, Kevin, over here to your right. George Diaz with the Orlando Sentinel. Teammates in NASCAR are obviously very different than ball and stick sports, and obviously there's an occasional competitive little snafus that go on. But how would you define a teammate within your group?
I guess I don't 100% understand your question. How would I define what?
The dynamics of, just talk about the dynamics of having a teammate in NASCAR as opposed to having a teammate in football, basketball, whatever.
Well, I don't think they're any different. I think for us, and when I sit on the outside and look at other sports, occasionally you'll see them pushing and shoving and punching each other and on the bench, or after the game, or on the sidelines, and those emotions are the same for us, and sometimes those run high, and things happen, and you have to work through them and not take them personal, because there is a lot of emotion. I mean, there's a lot of times I'll walk around the garage and somebody will say, "Man, you were a jerk yesterday." I'm like, "Really? What did I say? What did I do?" And you get in that competitive frame of mind, and you can't take all that personally amongst each other. And I think for us, we can work through things and figure them out. But it's not going to be any different than any other sport. You're going to have problems that you have to work through, and it's never going to be perfect.
Just under 2 minutes, so Stan, if you could be brief, we may get one more.
Stan Creekmore, outside the box, Kevin. You're a front runner all the time. You don't lay in the back. So does the change in the points really cause you any concern whatsoever?
No. For us, that's the mentality that Rodney has put in since day one. I'm not here to finish. I'm not saying he's not here to finish second in practice. He wants to win practice. He wants to sit on the pole, and he wants to lead every lap and win the race. That's his goal. And I think as they prepare the cars during the week, I mean that's the goal during the week. Obviously, you don't win all the races, you don't win all the practices, but for the last 3 years we've won our fair share. And I think that the new point system has set up well for us. And really, I don't think we'll change anything as to how we race on the track. I think we'll change, the strategies are going to evolve and change as you go through, these segments. So we'll have to get adapted to that. And a lot of there's a lot of things that could move around as to how you work those things, as to when the cautions fall, how your fuel mileage is. I mean, there's a million things, but there are carrots out there for you to reach and grab. And that bonus point is big. for the chase. Those 10 points are big for your year-end total. And for us, I'm big on having to find things to go out and grab and motivate yourself every week. They're not hard to find, but that's how we motivate ourselves on a week-to-week basis, is to go out and find those things and say, we haven't won here, or, we need to make up some points, and we need to do it this weekend. So there's a lot of things there's more things to motivate yourself now than there were, and we didn't have any problem motivating ourselves for 38 weeks in the past 3 years. So I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you for spending time with us. We know you got other places to go after this, and your 10 minutes are clear. Good to see you.